This episode brought to you by Visiting Friends. Are you looking for a fun getaway? Maybe even some homemade eggnog or delicious chicken soup? Have you ever tried skiing? It's more fun with friends. Well, get all of this and more by just simply visiting your friends. You can enjoy this if you use the promo code Hannah the Human and get $10 off your next visit to Friends. Again, that's Hannah the Human, Visiting Friends. Let's hit that theme song. Oh, nice. We're going for like existential vibes. Hannah the Human. I can get down with it. Get down with it. Get down with it. Just to give another quick shout out to our sponsor of this episode of Hannah the Human, this amazing podcast that I thank you all so much for listening to. Well, our sponsor, Visiting Friends, is amazing and also provides incredible stories, like the time that I fell asleep and missed my flight. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, you didn't wake up to your alarm. No. I set an alarm. I woke up to it. I packed my bags. I got out of the door all before 5 a.m. to drive to Omaha to make my flight on time. I check my bag on time. I get to TSA. I go through TSA, put my shoes back on, got my backpack with me, find the gate, which isn't hard to find because the Omaha airport is like literally the size of a living room. Okay, maybe a bit bigger. However, I get to my gate and I notice, okay, they are going to start boarding in a few minutes. Made it on time. Sit down in my seat. Now I'm starting to feel tired from the 5 hours of sleep that I got. And I didn't take any caffeine because I wanted to fall asleep on my flight. And now you're starting to see where this story's going. Yep, there I am, sitting at my gate. And I close my eyes just to rest them for a little bit. I open them. I notice, they're boarding Group B passengers. And I'm Group C, so I'm next. All that I remember happening after that is I opened my eyes and everybody was gone. I jump up. I see on the sign it says, boarding Group C, 1 through 60. I'm like, oh dear. I rush over. The door's closed. The little boarding lady isn't there. Well, she is there, but she's behind the closed door. I look out. My plane is still there. The little gate tube thing that you walk onto the plane, that's still set up and still connected to the plane. So I'm banging on that door, and the lady behind it just yells through that glass, "No, ma'am, I can't help you. Gate is closed. You got to go talk to those people." It's the help desk people. I rush over to them. I'm like, "Please let me get on my plane. It's there. I got to go." They're like, "Ma'am, the gate is closed, and we did the final call twice. We called your name twice." And I'm thinking, I was sitting there at the gate. Like, you've got to be kidding. And I am starting to get very frustrated. I am just distraught because let me paint the picture. I am flying to visit my friends up in Michigan. And one of those friends, she is performing in the production of Fiddler on the Roof. And it starts at 7 p.m. Michigan time. And my flight is due to get me there by 3 o'clock Michigan time. So plenty of time to make it to her performance. But then they start these helpful, but not very helpful, associate people for Southwest start telling me, okay, well, we can reschedule your flight. I'm like, great, what's the soonest flight time? Oh, well, you can leave here at 2:30 and get there at 9:30 at night. I was like, no, I'm going to miss my friend's show. I'm sure they're like, whoa, she's from the loony bin, because I'm just so passionate. Like, I am yelling. Again, not aggressively at them, but also knowing me, like, people assume I'm aggressive by just talking. So it was probably kind of threatening. I apologize to that Southwest lady, but I wasn't mad at her. I was just kept shouting to myself, I'm so frustrated at myself. Come on, you've got to be kidding. And I was like probably pulling my hair out, like wringing my head in my hands. It was dramatic. But, all these emotional health podcasts I've been listening to over the past few years about expressing your emotions, I had to put them in practice. I had to process through this. I wasn't going to stifle it. Even though they said, ma'am, calm down. I said, no, but my plane's there. And then I proceeded to look sadly out at my plane, distraught and sorrowful to the very core of my body, yet no tears would come out of my eyes. I just sat there dry-eyed, red-faced, looking at my plane as it de-iced for the next 20 minutes, thinking, could I break through that glass? Could I jump down? Could I hop into the carry-on baggage place? Could I get on my beloved plane that's going to get me to Michigan on time? No, I couldn't. And later, when I told my friend about getting on there, I thought, what if I had just broken through the door and rushed through the gate and said, open the door? And she said, well, what might have happened is maybe some handcuffs and not great stuff. So in hindsight, I'm glad that I didn't break through the door that said an alarm will sound if you break through here. But man, I sure did want to for a second. Well, then finally, I had processed my emotions enough to realize we need to come up with a solution. I quickly thought in my head I could run out to my car right now and drive up to Michigan. But that would be cutting it close because how long of a drive was it? It's like 10 hours. Well, technically it's only 9 hours, but I lose an hour because of the time change. So it would have been a 10-hour drive, so I would have had to literally only lose 30 minutes of the drive in order to make it to the show on time. And then I'm stuck with my car, so I have to drive back. So I waste my flight, back home. Plus, my checked baggage made it on the flight because it didn't take a nap. And so then I would kind of have that difficulty being separated from my baggage, which might have to spend the night at the airport. So very quickly, I'm like, this is not a solution. So the Southwest lady did mention, well, you could try to purchase a flight with another airline. Now, there's not a lot of airlines going out because it's Saturday. There weren't that many flights either. So I quickly looked through the few airlines that fly out of Omaha to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and very quickly realized that there are not many. And the few that do will get me there even later than 9:30, except this beloved United Airlines flight that had like 1 or 2 tickets left. So I immediately click. I'm like, purchase. I purchase it online. I pay for the ticket, and then they send me the confirmation email, and phew, I'm so glad. So then I have to just wait around in the airport for the next 3 hours until my flight leaves. And you bet I set an alarm. I set an alarm for that boarding time. I was not about to miss this other one for whatever reason. And I talked to my dad on the phone and just told him how sad I was and disappointed and frustrated. And he listened, and I took a little nap, and I drank some coffee and ate what did I eat? A sandwich or something that cost $4 million, and did my makeup, just recuperated and made it on the flight. Flew United Airlines, stopped at Chicago, and then got me to Grand Rapids, Michigan with a few hours to spare. Made it to the show on time and felt so accomplished. There's nothing like falling asleep at the gate of your flight and going through all that drama to make you just so grateful to make it to a show on time. And I sure was grateful because it was a great show. An amazing homeschool performing arts group up in Grand Rapids put on this production, and there was 90 kids aged 13 to 18, and they did amazing. They did better than a lot of adults I've seen acting in local theaters and stuff. So it truly was a great show. Amazing, enjoyable. I also love Fiddler on the Roof, so it was such a blessing to be able to see that live because I've just watched the movie forever and ever and ever since I was a kid. And so I knew all the songs and all the lines, and it was just wonderful and hilarious and enjoyable and heartwarming and touching. So, yes. Whew, but my goodness, what a wild story. That has been my last week. And then, to make it more dramatic, I got home and immediately started throwing up. Stomach bug or stomach flu or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I threw up at least 10 times and it sucked. And I literally thought no one could be more miserable than me until a friend of mine from Michigan texted me saying, "Oh, I heard you got the stomach bug too." And she said, "Yeah, I've been throwing up." And she is nursing a 1-month-old baby. And suddenly I realized, wow, I bet there are levels of dehydration worse than I experienced. So I just send all the prayers and blessings and hope that she feels amazing and her baby does amazing, and that sucks. And stomach flus are terrible, and they should be canceled. You know, there's so many things that are canceled nowadays. We should cancel the stomach bug. So if you want to join me in that, just go to cancelstomachbug.com and type in the code Hannah the Human. Throwing up sucks. But moving on from that, what was I going to move on to from that? Well, I mean, I have my episode that I promised you last week that I'd recorded a while back about songwriting. So of course we'll get to that. I just had to tell you this exciting update about my life and, you know, let you know that I am feeling better. You know, obviously no longer throwing up. 24 hours went by and I survived. Thank God. It was rough, though, and it is really rough being sick by yourself, which is what I was. But a wonderful coworker named Tu bought me apples and oranges. Editing Hannah here. Correction, apples and bananas. Apples and bananas. I know it's unimportant, but it's important to me. She bought me apples and bananas, not oranges. Okay, continue. And peppermint tea, and those have got me through because, plot twist, I got home and I only have half the amount of food I usually do because I was gone on a trip, so I didn't have any fruit, which I wanted and was craving and all this stuff, and I was too sick to go out and could barely get off my couch. So my wonderful coworker brought me some fruit and tea, and I am very grateful to her for that. And I have now enjoyed watching the Hunger Game movies today and doing my laundry and slowly eating. And now I feel like I want a real meal. And like I said, I don't have that much food. I really want chicken. And so I'm going to go to Chipotle. But I was waiting for my laundry to be done because I want to wear my sweatpants there. And they're still drying, although now they're done drying. So there's no reason for me not to go to Chipotle. And there is all the reason for me to just start on my songwriting episode. So enjoy. All right. So my songwriting, man, how did I miss that? That is such a big thing. I talked about piano, guitar, singing, and of course we've got to talk about the songwriting. How did that get to be? I sort of started it with you, but then I never told you how it took off and just took me over and I became a songwriter. You know, so I told you already, kind of wrote a song once in a blue moon as a kid. Then though, when I was 12, I can't remember exactly when it started, but the way I tell the story to myself is it was after I had woken up one day and realized I wanted to start learning piano. So I was 12 years old, and it was after that, but I can't remember if it was after or before my brother died. Now, why am I throwing my brother dying into this? Because it really became the way songwriting became the way I processed life. And it truly felt like it was given as a gift to me in that season because I needed some way to process life. Because that was tough, you know, dealing with a death in the family and then all that entailed and everything. So I think it was after my brother Levi died, when I was 12, that I started, like one day I was at the piano and then just boom, this song came to me. It felt like I wasn't trying to write it, you know, like I wasn't like, ooh, I'm going to write a song. Let me come up with chords and words. It was just like I was playing this chord progression and then just started singing these words and boom. And now the song isn't incredible. It's like the difference between a kid and an adult, you know? It was like a kid's song. I mean, I was a kid after all. And it was like a worship song and kind of boring and lame, you know? Like, not to diss it. I'm sure I was doing the best with what I had, right? But it felt like, whoa, this is something different. And then I just wrote another song. And I was like, whoa. And then I wrote another song. And that kind of began the journey of songwriting. And it wasn't really like I was writing a song. It would just be more like I'm sitting at the piano and suddenly I'm just expressing stuff and it's rhyming and yeah, I can't ever remember how I wrote the songs. I just remember, boom, there was song 1. Boom, there was song 2. And they weren't, like I said, amazing songs. And they were kind of basic and sort of, they were worship songs, which, I mean, worship songs aren't bad songs, but it was kind of, worship songs I feel like can kind of not fully be art, because as I define art, it's not about giving answers. It's just about asking questions. And worship is like Christian, and being Christian, you have these beliefs of how it is. So it isn't necessarily like, this is my life, this is the questions I'm asking, the end. Worship songs have this like, okay, we're going to talk about the suffering, but from this perspective of God's got it. These are the truths. And for me, that doesn't feel as honest as non-worship songs, actually. I think there's a total place for worship songs at churches and stuff. I enjoy singing them, so that's why I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying, as a songwriter and my journey of being authentic and expressing myself, it was like not full expression to write a worship song. It was more like before allowing myself to say what I really felt, I was just telling myself what I thought I needed to hear. So I wasn't actually expressing that emotion that I was having. I was more feeling that emotion and then giving it a Bible verse like, oh dear, I'm feeling contentious and I'm feeling uncertain. Well, the Lord is good. God gives you peace. Jesus, you're with me, which is wonderful and beautiful, but it's also so missing the honesty of expression to just jump to a conclusion like that, As I've continued songwriting over the years, I started writing less and less worship kind of songs, because I was just starting to more and more not need those Bible verses and those ways of saying things and those moralities and those little pretty bows and cliches. I started needing those less because I started having more of my own voice. So it was almost like this gift was given to me, I felt like, of songwriting, where I'm like, boom, whoa, I'm writing songs. And then I started to interact with the gift and put more of myself in it. And that's when I really became a songwriter, I think. And now I write songs as just an expression. I will feel the urge sometimes to, I need to process this, and I'll write a song. And now there's tons of different ways I write songs. I've been able to tap into thinking more analytically about it. Like, I have this idea. Let me work this out. Starting first with lyrics, starting first with melody. Like, I've written songs from all different ways. Still, my favorite way to write a song is when it just flows. Like this one song that I wrote, Cowboy Hat. I was watching this movie because as well as getting into country music, I also fell in love with the stereotype of cowboy, right? And so loved watching cowboy movies and stuff where I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so hot. So anyway, I was watching this one movie. I think it was called Urban Cowboy or something. And suddenly I was like, what a romantic idea. I was just watching him. I think he was kissing the girl and he had a cowboy hat on. I thought how romantic it would be to have a song that's like you and me under your cowboy hat, like basically saying we're kissing, but not saying we're kissing. And I was like, pause on the movie, and boom, I wrote a song. It just flowed, and I did a few edits to it, after I wrote the song, but I kind of just wrote the verse. Like there I met my guitar, I typing it on my phone and then just playing the chords, and then like, whoa, that's good, and kind of running over and over on these first few lines, and then the next lines come to me, so I record that bit, and then the chorus comes to me. And by come to me, like that's the best way I can describe it, because it's just like an idea and then suddenly it takes form and formulates. And I can't even remember exactly how. Like I know I usually sit for a while. Like the song is so let me break it down. Maybe that's what I'll do. My little creativity thing that I'll share with you today will be this song. I'll just sing it acoustically, and I'll break down kind of how I wrote that song. So, boom, I get the idea, you and me under the cowboy hat. Ooh, that's cute. And then I'm thinking about that, pause the movie, go to my bedroom, sit on my bed, grab my guitar, and then I'm like, ooh, I've got this line. I grab my phone, I type down the line. It's If I'm kissing you under your cowboy hat, then the sun can't burn my face. I'm like, ooh, that's good. Then I'm like, what should go with that? So then I type out, then the stars won't see the tears on my cheeks. Ooh, that's good. Okay, so then I grab my guitar. I'm like, what key do we want to be in? I just start playing one, messing around. Ooh, I love this. And I don't even know how I get melodies. I forget. But somehow I just had this melody. If I'm kissing you under your cowboy hat, then the sun can't burn my face. Then the stars won't see the tears on my cheeks. I'm like, ooh, that's good. Okay, I can't forget this. Grab my phone, record that. Then I'm like, okay, it kind of needs a second part to that verse. You know, I'm just kind of going over the melody, and then I get the next idea. If I'm kissing you under your cowboy hat, then the wind can't steal my breath. Then the empty sky won't be all I have. Wait, I need a little bit more. Ooh, I've got an idea. Then the empty, endless sky ain't all I have. Love that. Boom. Then I record that. Now I'm like, okay, we need a chorus. And then I can't even remember how I came up with the chorus, but suddenly I had the chorus written. I had the melody. I was strumming away on my guitar. So then I record the next part, because I like to record it when I get a chunk, because in thinking about the next piece of music, I'll often forget the melody that I had just thought of. You know, like in working on the chorus, I'll forget about the verse. So I like to record things as I go. So then I record the chorus, and it goes like this. So dance with me, sway like grass in the sunshine, roll your body like the hillside. Dance with me, feel the music in your blood, let it beat to the surface. And just like that, it's you and I under your cowboy hat. Wow. See, right there. Listening to all those country songs paid off. And just like that, it's you and I under your cowboy hat. Do you feel those feelings that it gives you? Do you see how it says something without actually saying the thing? Boom. Art. You know? I'm writing something just because I have this feeling. I have this, how I feel thinking about kissing under a cowboy hat and the imagery of that. And then boom, it expresses it. Second verse. Guitar kind of comes more chugging in, gives it a bit of a rhythm. If I ride with you in your saddle, boy, then the dust can't find my feet. Then my feet won't find the stones that make 'em bleed. So dance with me, sway like grass in the sunshine, roll your body like the hillside. Dance with me, feel the music in your blood, let it beat to the surface. And just like that, it's you and I under your cowboy hat. Oh, just like that, it's you and I under your cowboy hat. Woo! Time to go into a bridge, right? Again, I forget how I came up with the bridge, but I did. I've run away to catch my heart if I can, but perhaps catching a cowboy's a better plan. So if I'm kissing you under your cowboy hat, then the sun can't burn my face. Then the stars won't see the tears on my cheeks. Wow. That's the song I want to record and release in the spring, because basically everybody I've played it for has loved it. I think even my twin sister, who doesn't like country music, enjoyed it. I know she's not thinking it's my best song, but I'm pretty sure even she enjoyed it. And then a friend of mine who absolutely loves country music absolutely loved it. And then somebody else, a friend of mine, when I played it for him, they said, whoa, you should base an album off of that. And so that's what I kind of want to do. I have a whole country-inspired album planned because then I kept writing country songs or country-inspired folk songs. They're not really country songs, but they're my version of country. And so I want to release Cowboy Hat this spring. I want to professionally record it. Don't quite know the instrumentation. I know I want it to be more than just me and guitar, but yeah, kind of want another creative person to help me with that. So, hey, if you are in the Omaha, Nebraska area, Sioux City, Iowa area, and you want to help make Cowboy Hat reach number 1 on the country pop charts, hit me up. I don't have much money, but I will offer you my creativity. Actually, crazy radical idea. If any of you want to just send some money to help me get more money so that I can make recording Cowboy Hat at a high quality studio a thing, I have about $150 right now saved up towards that. I'm going to need a lot more than that. Probably need at least $400 or $500 more to get a good audio recording. So if you want to help me, go ahead and just Venmo any amount of money you want. Like, for real, guys, this isn't a joke. My Venmo is Hannah Dota, at Hannah Dota. That's HANNAHDOTTA. Hannah Dota. If you want to Venmo me $5, $500, it honestly would mean the world, because that's one of the biggest things stopping me is just not having the money. On that note, I think it is time to end this wonderful episode, diving into the music side of Hannah the Human. Thank you if you listened all the way to this. Thank you also if you just listened in part. You're probably not hearing my thank you, but I'm sending it out there to you, so may you be blessed. May you just receive the benefits of listening to me, because that is the key to a happy life. Key to life is to listen to my podcast. And so if you want other people that have the key to success, then share this episode with them, or actually share my first episode, or just tell them about me. Just say Hannah the Human. That's where it's at. Get tuned into her origin story. And then boom, I'll take off like a rocket ship, or I won't. Either way, totally good, because I'm cool and I listen to my podcasts, and so they are worth it. After that little bit of hyping myself up, may you be hyped up. May you realize how awesome you are and wonderful you are, and may you do your thing, whether it's a podcast, jumping jacks, starting a business, giving someone a hug, or tapping someone gently or not so gently on the shoulder when they are sleeping at the gate that you all are getting up and leaving and getting in line for a flight for. Come on, if you see somebody sleeping and you're all getting up and leaving that gate and suddenly they are by themselves, tap them on the freaking shoulder. Okay, I might have a little trauma left over from a certain B14 gate in Omaha, Nebraska. So let's all take a deep breath and peace out.